re-release.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to find out a little bit of background about you, obviously before the album got released and things like that.
Yeah,
what have you been doing prior to the lead up of the re-recording and things like that with your time?
In general?
And with music, with life, that kind of thing.
Oh man, it's been keeping pretty busy. I've been studying a fair bit. I've recently started working with a company that helps with autistic guys. I run like a music mentoring program for autistic guys, and that's been great. So a mob called Coast Community. I do that on the Central Coast, New South Wales. I live in Newcastle, and hopefully I can facilitate that in Newcastle.
Great.
Hopefully later on this year. So yeah, that sort of keeps up a bit of my time, and there's teaching gigs just around Newcastle. Newcastle's like this amazing little. I love Newcastle.
Yeah.
It's
Our
like
best mates from Newcastle.
Yeah, it's this little epicentre. It's like a shrunken Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's got this golden little music sort of thriving little bustle of musicality there. And there's lots of gigs, lots of students, and yeah, it's pretty.
Well, it's the biggest city outside of the capitals, I think.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest non-capital cities, and because it's kind of far flung. If you're in Newcastle, you've got to make it. In Newcastle, I've got to make it as Newcastle.
Yeah.
It's not like a far-flung suburb of Sydney.
Yeah,
so they
yeah,
proudly know the cash streets.
Yeah,
Anything they do,
yeah.
they really put their heart into it. Which is great.
And you must find that really rewarding. Like, how did you get into that? Is there people that you know that are on the spectrum, or was it just something you fell into?
It's something that's just bizarre. My life's just this weird Disneyland sort of thing. I just bumble into shit like that. It's quite bizarre. Yeah? And I did. I studied community service work because it's something I've always been pretty passionate about. The year before last, and I was going to go into drug and alcohol management because it's something else I'm very passionate about. And through that, I thought, maybe youth. But I've always done like music mentoring. I've done that for years. I used to run a program in Sydney, as did Bob Spencer, called Weekend Warriors, and it was hugely rewarding. Hugely rewarding, and this was just an arm of that. This company contacted me about dealing with these guys with autism, and they run a film school as well.
Right.
I can show you some stuff they do. It's amazing, and they teach them how to edit, because when they're on that spectrum, that's the universe. You know, they tend to sort of gravitate towards anything medieval, and anything Dungeons and Dragons, all that sort of stuff, and anything rock and roll. They love it, you know. So, and I've had autistic and Asperger's students in the past, and they're amazing. If they get it, if you can get them, and they get it, they'll burn a hole in it. You know, so they're great to teach.
Yeah, that's great.
So I'm pretty passionate about that. So that takes up a fair amount of my time. I'm sort of studying a diploma in mental health at the moment, so that keeps me busy. That and just teaching and just playing. That's what I do. Just teach guitar.
That's amazing. Just because obviously we like to get out to people how rad music is. What would you say, if you can do this off the top of your head, what would you say your top 3 albums are?
Of all time?
Yeah. Or is that a bit too difficult depending on your mood? Because I know it is for me.
Yeah, look, there's iconic albums that I think really, as not just as a music, there's albums as a music lover that I sort of go, that album's amazing. But then there's albums as a musician, as a guitar player.
Which hat do you want to put on then?
Look, probably I'll start just as a music lover. Alice Cooper's School's Out was huge. Yeah. He was a massive influence on me. Yeah. That was a big one. Then probably Deep Purple, Made in Germany. There was like a live album they did. That was the first time I heard Burn and stuff like that. I really got or Fireball. That was another album I really liked. Van Halen's Women and Children First, which was a really early, like 78, 79 Van Halen, like real Van Halen. Yeah. You know, and that they were 3 as, I don't think I've done probably a bit of both, guitar player and just music. But then there was Kiss, like Destroyer was a huge album for me. It was massive. They're probably the ones that really come to mind.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And just to pipe in with that too, is there with the new album and the more bluesy tone and the sound that album's got, is there any albums that have really influenced you on that side of music, less rock and roll, more obscure, like
you
So with the slide and stuff as well.
with the slide and stuff. Yeah, look, Tom Petty was always a massive influence on me as a songwriter. I've always, I still think he was one of the greatest. So anything Tom Petty did, like Damn the Torpedoes was the first one I heard, which was amazing. And anything Rodney Crowell ever did, he's a great songwriter, really rootsy. And anything by the Drive-By Truckers, who are one of the greatest bands in the world. Drive-By Truckers, just in terms of they're probably one of the dirtiest bands, but in terms of just quality songwriting, like their Story Smiths, it was amazing.
So, with young people today, and obviously the whole makeup of touring and getting your music out there and all that kind of stuff is so different.
Oh man, it's
better but worse at the same time. I think there's
no
positive and negative.
No one knows because the playing field changes weekly.
Yes,
it changes weekly. Like to be a young up and coming. There's musician or artist.
Yeah, two different things.
And some of you wear both hats, but as an artist, man, it would be, I wouldn't know where to start. I mean, it is great because there's so many ways to get your music out there, but by definition, music is now free, which devalues it. Just by definition, it's free now. You don't know. Teenagers, teenagers, they don't buy music, but they love it.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's how it is, and I think you can make a living, but not. Money's not everything. You know, it's a lifestyle choice. It chooses us. We don't choose it. You know, but there's you have to work live. You have to work live, and you've got to be in that mindset where you better love what you do. You better love performing. Otherwise, you're in a fucking world of hurt. Right? You're going to be one bitter old fucker. You really are, and I know him. I know him. You know, it's like, and I'm never going to be that guy.
And look, mental health's a big thing with musicians as well. Obviously, whether it's self-medicating or whether it's having to struggle for your art, that kind of thing. So, do you have any advice on that front, on how to keep bringing the joy and how to stay focused and happy rather than falling into that trap?
Oh yeah, and like everyone's got their own way of doing things. I think stay focused, try and stay positive. It's very easy to fall into the black hole in this business. It really, really is, because you put yourself out there, and when you put yourself out there, people are going to shoot you down. You've got to realise that from day dot. You know, you really do, because I've buried lots of mates. You know, and it's something. Yeah, it's something that people have to realise if they're going to get into this business. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It really is a double-edged sword, and you get used to a reality that isn't really a reality. You know, so people can sort of get a bit caught up in it.
And both zones too. So if you're struggling, you can. But even if you get some hysteria behind it, that can be a non-realistic environment.
Big time. And the whole self-medication thing is like, people don't understand. Sort of like you do this thing that's sort of it's like rah 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 rah, and then it's sort of like oh wow. I don't want to be here. I want to be rah 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 rah. So what do you do? Self-medicate. Say rah 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 rah. So you gotta, and that's a mindset. That's a real mental discipline that you have to you learn, and you have to fuck up. You know, and learn from fucking up. You know, that didn't work, or you die. You know, it's sort of, or you end up never being happy. You don't know what happy is anymore. You don't know. You have to sort of go. I try my best to sort of like, you know, like I don't drink, smoke, drug, anything, and haven't done for 4 years. And the difference is like, wow, because you have to sort of go, oh well, it's just a fucking uniform. You know, it's a uniform. Then you take it out, which sometimes ain't that easy. You know, it's not easy. It's sort of like, oh, okay, well, but that's it. That's my reality. You deal with it. That's how I deal with it, and that's the advice I give to anyone: is try to stay as grounded as you possibly can. And
so, to keep yourself in that mindset, and you know, having that sobriety for the last 4 years, what do you do to really keep yourself relaxed or unwind, or to, you know, give yourself that clarity? What centers you?
Fitness.
Yeah.
Fitness. Exercise is a big one.
Yeah.
Meditate. It's just cliche as that sounds. Yeah,
but it works.
But it works, man. Breathing. People don't realise that a lot of people don't breathe. That sort of stuff. Walking, a good communication, good relationships with everybody. You know that treat people the way you want to be treated. Just basic humility is probably the greatest quality anyone could ever have. It really is. So keep yourself centered that way, and try to be positive. Just try to be positive. That's what I try and do.
Well, look,